at Origin Coffee Roasters on Maui. Hey Heather, how's it going?
Hi, Mark. It's going well over here. How's it with you?
Uh, Really good, and super excited to interview today because it's great to have partners all over the country, but great to talk to someone in the state of Hawaii in our backyard.
Yeah, big congrats to you guys. 20 years. That's a big deal.
Oh, I appreciate that, and definitely want to show our appreciation too by showcasing you and your brand, and just kind of being part of this journey and part of the ride. So thank you. Um, See, could you tell me, about yourself? What drive and what helps you to, drive your dedication and commitment to coffee?
A little bit about myself. Well, I've been in specialty coffee now for a while, many years. I'm gonna say 15, 20, pushing the 20 mark. I started in my home state in Ohio. I was just a barista as a part-time gig while I was going to school there. And had a manager who was really passionate about it. And, the SCA was starting to really take hold, early 2000s, and really got inspired by that and wanted to go a little bit further with the company. I was working for Stops Coffee Roasters, just like a small town local Columbus roaster. And they weren't growing as much as I thought they would. They had offered me an assistant roasting position and kind of didn't work out in their growth plans. So I ended up moving to Oregon and working at the Albina Press for a few years in their heyday, and eventually moved down to San Diego. Started roasting at Cafe Calabria for about 5 years I was there, and then made the transition to Bird Rock Coffee Roasters there in La Jolla. And that's when we actually uh, partnered with Savor Brands for the first time. Really enjoyed working with you guys there. And about 2017, was toying around with the idea of partnering Bird Rock with some local breweries and manufacturing cold brew like in cans. But none of those ideas were really working out. And wife, who's originally she was working in Maui before she moved to San Diego for Maui Brewing Company, and kind of had the opportunity. She was offered the brewmaster position at the brewery, and they already had a multi-million-dollar canning line, and I'd known Garrett and Melanie, the owners, for several years, and they kind of knew of what I was doing at Bird Rock and were pretty impressed and kind of pitched the idea of, hey, like, come on out here to Maui and let's do some cold brew, ready to drink um, products. And kind of been working on that the past few years. And outside of coffee, I'm surfing, I'm taking my dogs to the beach, I'm doing home improvement projects. We bought our first home in Maui before things got too crazy over here. And yeah, just been working on growing the business and trying to get over to Oahu more.
That's awesome. Yeah, you know, going a little bit off topic here, I think it's so awesome that the specialty coffee community, while it's so vast, globally around the world, we do have it is almost like it is a small world, because throughout this journey, I got to meet someone who you know very well, Nick Berardi over at Mostra.
Oh
He
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he definitely mentions you a lot in all the podcasts, and you're one of his mentors. So it's great to see all those connections coming back, and we're only a couple islands away, so that's awesome.
Yeah, Nick actually for the same company that I did back in Ohio. So that's where I originally met him. And then
Yeah.
I was like, hey, come out to San Diego, teach you how to roast some coffee.
And
So
with
I guess
all
I
and
did
with
a
all
pretty good
your,
job.
yeah, exactly, it shows. um how has your role, since Origin Coffee Roasters started out, a few years ago, how has your role evolved over the years?
Well, I've just been doing more, I guess.
Hmm.
We have a pretty small team. There's just two of us. I've done everything in the coffee industry, from being a barista, working the production line, just scooping coffee. And
Mhm.
kind of a new thing for me was the sales work, sales, marketing, doing that. That's something that, I didn't have a ton of experience as, being the roaster, and, that was my home base. So I had to spread my wings a little bit. And um, I was nervous about the sales work at first, but turns out that I actually enjoy going out and
Mm.
talking to people, just because I'm, passionate about coffee. So it's just when you feel, that passion for something, you have drive, it's something that's easy to sell. It's easy to talk about, excited about something.
Mhm. Um, how has the company itself evolved over the years? Whether it's your mission and values, any branding, outreach, things like that.
Yeah, at first we partnered up with some designers that were working with the brewery. It was just kind of like, I'd never done a brand catalog. I hadn't created, a brand identity with, these are our brand colors. And so that was actually something that I really enjoyed, and doing, I've partnered now with a friend, Luisa Dalva in San Diego, and she does really great work for us. She's actually working on our new bag redesign with you guys. Um, so developing that, and we founded Origin. We really launched the website late 2017, but I didn't really quit my day job until 2020. So we were
Oh,
just kind of getting by, and it was, I think,
mhm.
January, February of 2020, where I was like, all right, like, we kind of made some good financial decisions, to where I could step away from my full-time job, and dedicate, all my time to growing Origin. So that's, you know, right before COVID hit. So um, it was pretty tricky, but since COVID, 2021, 2022, we've doubled our sales each
Mm.
year. So, being able to focus 100% on the growth of the company was just pivotal. And that, obviously makes sense. If I'm part-time with the company, and it wasn't able to get its legs under it, and we were, in the entry phases of getting our nitro cold brew cans out.
Mm.
And we actually just did a redesign on those too. So with that redesign, we've noticed like an increase in sales by
Mm.
about 25%.
I did notice the rebrand. I was there a couple weeks ago, so I bought like maybe 5 cans, took it back to my hotel room. Very good too, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone thought it was beer. So we made nitro cold brew, very,
Yeah.
very large on the can.
Well, when you're in the same space as a brewery, naturally, right? Folks would be like, "Oh yeah, this might be beer, I think."
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, you mentioned really awesome, stories, so far. What could you say are your two proudest moments or highlights of Origin Coffee Roasters thus far?
Um, I would say one of the main focuses that, after getting things going, and really focusing on what I wanted Origin to be about, it was kind of bringing Hawaiian coffee more, as, there's roasters on the islands everywhere, but really modernizing the roast profiles. And, I had a lot of success at Bird Rock, and had won a lot of awards there. And I
Mhm.
wanted to bring that acknowledgement to the local coffee scene. So I think it was 2019, we partnered with a very small farm up country here on Maui called Kapa'a Farms. It's owned by Jerry and Janet Ross. And they produce, I think, about 2 acres of land. So, their lots are anywhere from 20 to 30 pounds, when they do have production. And Kim Westerman reached out to me from Coffee Review about the Hawaii tasting report that they were doing. And Jerry's coffee had been, the best coffee I'd had on an island so far. So I was like, hey, would you, be interested in me roasting your coffee and submitting it to this report because they didn't sell their coffee wholesale. And we ended up getting a Maui coffee on the top 30 that year. So it was number 16. And I thought, that was a huge accomplishment, working with a local coffee and putting Maui on the map, really.
That's awesome. Was that the HCA competition? Is that what the coffee was submitted in as well?
Um, no, I don't know if Jerry submitted he
Oh,
probably submitted coffee, but it was their Orange for Bone that ended up
oh,
performing the best.
that's
Yeah, because we had a yellow Katsuai and
mm-hmm.
I think a red Katura that we submitted as well.
Oh, right
And Kim
on.
said all three had made it through to the final round, but they just had to pick one. So
Oh, I see. Oh, for coffee review. Ah, I
yeah, yeah,
see.
yeah,
Right on.
yeah.
Um, you know, that's a really awesome journey. And, man, I didn't realize you were part-time, like for the most, that as long as the company's been around, like majority of the time so far. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. I mean, I wish I
Um,
was independently wealthy
you
and, I didn't have to
never hear
work,
the
but I'm not.
backstory. It's just like, oh, Heather's opening up her own, coffee
Oof.
shop on Maui. Yeah, exactly, right. That's even more impressive and more amazing. And thank you so much for the time. Um, my last question is, what's next for Origin Coffee Roasters? Any upcoming projects or really cool things you can share?
Yeah, we want to expand our ready to drink product line. So that would most likely involve an oat milk style beverage with the cold brew, perhaps like a sparkling tea. Um, I think expanding that product line, because that was actually the main focus when we set Origin up. It wasn't to be a roaster that was wholesaling around the island. It was just to be a cold brew manufacturer. But we kind of had to do that pivot in 2020 and focus on our local sales. But yeah, really pushing to develop that product line, new products out there, and yeah, finding a good oat milk supplier. So if anyone's hearing this and you got some great oat milk, give me a call.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Heather, for the time. We're really looking forward to seeing what's coming up next, and we're really happy to be a partner with you and part of your journey as well.
Yeah, and you'll hopefully by September we'll have our new design for our bags out too. So excited about that.
Oh, terrific. Well, thank you so much, Heather. Talk soon.
Yeah, take care, Mark. Aloha.